man.
It's here. It's here.
Yeah,
I think
man.
this is the earliest they ever opened up a training camp.
I feel like it is. Maybe it's just like that because it feels like the season just pretty much ended because it's always kind of around this time. But it does feel like I know rookies start when next week, like the top of next week.
Yeah, but I thought it was like the 27th they start. I guess I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
It is. Yeah, you're probably right. They are
Right.
starting early July. Whatever the case, I don't give a damn, man. We here, man. So I'm excited.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So let's jump into a couple topics.
Yeah, man.
Today, your boy Terry McLaurin came out yesterday and had a long interview. Certain publication
Hmm.
said a lot. I haven't watched the whole interview, but obviously it's been bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Seen a couple commentary things on it, and I've seen a couple guys like some people trying to act like they're not worried and things like that. But I was listening to one guy, and he was like the most rational out of all of them. He made the most. He was his emotion wasn't in it. He was dealing with this facts and logic. And I was like, okay, and it's some white guy or whatever. I'm like, all right, I see. Like, I think that's he got the most truth to it.
Hmm.
So, what's your thoughts on it? I get it as being a fan and everything, a super fan is you want to keep telling yourself they're gonna resign him, they're gonna resign him. It's no big deal, but maybe this is a bigger deal than what we think. After you know, he said that the Washington Commanders didn't reach out to him in the last month. He started talking about his value to the team. He started pretty much selling himself. It goes to show you that these are probably the contentions that was in the contract negotiations. They're probably going back and forth over things like, well, this and that and this and that. And he's putting it out there like, look, this is what I meant to the team. This is what I know I can do. I'm healthy. All this stuff. It sounds like shit should be saying to a GM, you know? But what's your thoughts?
Um, I'm still not concerned. I'm still not concerned one bit. I knew this would go till about this time. I'm very confident that he'll still be signed within the next week, especially about from what we heard yesterday. And let me say this: if he's not signed by next week, as a logical football thinker, where's Terry McLaurin playing next year? He's playing with the Commanders because he's still signed with the Commanders. He'll be getting 22 to 25 million dollars, and I'm not saying that that he should be happy with that because everything that Terry said yesterday, I agree with Terry. Everything that he articulated yesterday, him being frustrated, of course, who wouldn't be frustrated? If you feel as though you need to be paid as one of the top receivers and you haven't been paid yet from one by as one of the top receivers, you would be frustrated. And I have no problem with him being frustrated. But when I look at this situation as it's playing out, first off, as far as a trade is concerned, that's laughable because one, he doesn't want to be traded. He just got married. He just bought a house in DC. He's established his whole life in DC. Now, that doesn't mean that they're about to get a discount or they're about to get any favor because of all of this. He still wants to be paid and be treated with the respect that he deserves, rightfully so. But when you look at everything that's going on, who's going to trade for him and then pay him? Who's going to give up draft capital and then pay him right now? Everybody's talking about the Steelers. Were they going to let TJ Watt go, a premier defensive end, and then sign another receiver when they just signed DK to a 4-year, $100-something million deal? No. All these other places, they would have to be able to sign and trade him within a year. If Washington was going to trade him, they would have did it before the draft so that they could have gotten something back. Because if you look on Washington's side, what do we have outside of yeah, Debo's nice. Got a couple of Ertz is nice, but ain't nobody on that roster, Terry. Nobody. We need Terry, and we need Terry happy. So when I look at what's going on and I look at how the contract negotiations work, and I also look at where our GM Adam Peters came from, because that can't be ignored. He came from San Francisco. There's a little bit of tug of war when it comes to contract negotiations. I don't like hearing from Terry that 30 million, 31 million is the start, and they don't know where that's at. That's bothersome because where else would he be? 32 million dollars, exactly where Terry needs to be. So I think at the end of the day, it's going to get done. Looking at Terry yesterday after conducting the Eastern Shore commercial, which is a DC commercial, he's out in DC, he's promoting the brand, he's still promoting, he's still being professional. And I think although this looks crazy right now because it's nothing else to do and we're in the summertime, that it's getting blown up, and as it should. You know what I'm saying? If he comes out and talks to people, need to talk about it. I'm not mad at it, but I still stick firm. If he doesn't get signed by training camp and he sits out, it'll start bothering me about week 2 into training camp once we start preseason games. but I still think he's going to get signed, and I still think he'll play for the Commanders, and this will be much ado about nothing come October. Come
Well,
September.
he has another year under his contracts,
So he signed anyway.
so that's what I think. Like that could be the issue, because maybe Adam Peters don't want to say, "Look, you got another year, play on it."
Mm-hmm.
And then
Which
that
I
could
don't
be the
agree
thing
with.
too.
I don't agree with that.
No, not. But I mean, like, and then another thing is like, all the stuff he did is fine, but you got to remember how a lot of these GMs think.
Mm-hmm.
They thinking, what can you do in the next three? So let's say if they give him a 3-year deal, you got this man till he's 34 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And so he may I don't know. I mean, I don't know what he's thinking. Only he knows, what he's thinking. But I people could say it's a part of negotiation, but it shouldn't have to be though.
Agreed.
It shouldn't have to be. He should be able to get something done.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? It's not like people talking about playing this game through the media. Why even do that? What just sign a man. If you value him, sign him.
Yeah, I agree 1,000%.
You
I
know what I'm
agree.
saying?
I
Yeah.
agree. It's just it's kind of we talked about this back in May.
Right.
And should he sign him? Of course. When would he sign him? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? We talked about it. And when you look at somebody, I feel bad as a human being because I know that's a good dude. I know that's a dude that put his blood, sweat, and tears out for this franchise. And not only that, because all of that is great, but at the end of the day, if you're not producing on the field, then you're not producing on the field. But then all of that said, he comes off a career year when he finally has a quarterback that can actually throw him the ball. He's not showing any signs of wear and tear. The dude is probably one of the most durable wide receivers I've ever seen. And when you look at his college career, because he was drafted in 2019 with the Debos, with the DKs, with the AJs, they're younger than he was because they didn't stay in college as long as he did. You know what I'm saying? Because they were out there balling and out there getting recognized and out there being seen. So they got drafted earlier. It took Terry a little longer. I say that to say his football mileage at 30, is it at the mileage of a 25, 26-year-old? No. But it's not necessarily at the mileage of a Mike Evans, where he has 10 years in the league as opposed to the 6 or 7 Terry has. So 30 to sign him to 34, obviously as a GM, and when we hear 30, it gets kind of risky. But I'm still confident in doing that because I don't see the mileage on Terry as bad. The wear on his tires as bad as I see other 30-year-old receivers. On top of the fact that both of these sides are going to have to meet in the middle. Terry has to understand, and his side has to understand he is on the other side of 30, and they don't give wide receivers on the other side of 30 these big contracts. And then Washington has to understand, look, this dude he's a little bit of a different case. His football mileage isn't the same, and he's producing still like a top 10 receiver. Wherever you want to place him within that top 10 is up to you. But his numbers show that he needs to be paid like a top 10 receiver. Should he be getting Jamar Chase and Jefferson money? Hell no. But should he be sitting there with AJ Brown's contract? Absolutely no. Am I saying he's better than AJ? No. But when you look at what AJ's contract, when it was last year, based off of this year and the new CBA and the numbers, he should be about 32, 33 million a year. And I think he'll get it.
Yeah, maybe he will. Maybe he will. Maybe he'll do it before training camp. Or maybe he won't.
Yeah.
Maybe Adam Peters says, play this final year. Maybe they want to move on from him. Maybe they feel like, Jaden Daniels can elevate, not saying, he elevated Terry. I mean, they work together. Maybe if he brings somebody else in, he could, he's a dynamic player. He's still going to ball. I mean, he had guys like what's his name? Noah Brown.
Noah Brown. He
out
had
there.
Alameda Zacchaeus.
Right. And it was all pretty, not Terry
De'Ami
productive.
Brown.
Right. So I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. Does the fact that they haven't reached out in a month, though,
Don't get
does
caught up in that.
that bother you?
Nope. I don't get caught up in that one bit because Adam Pete, when he talks about he hasn't reached out to them, he's talking about the front office. He's talking about contract negotiations. He's still talking to Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn confirmed that. He's still speaking to teammates. So he's still in the loop of what's going on. The reason why he didn't talk to anybody in the last months, because dude been out in Italy doing his thing. Adam Peters has been somewhere doing his thing. You haven't really seen any contract talks within these last month outside of the last few days. It's because people are starting to get back and shit's starting to get moving. So when I hear that, and I know it's a trigger word for the media to go, oh, he ain't talked to him in a month. And what pisses me off is I see a lot of our fans in the Washington fan base that do whatever they say that they do. They making that, they haven't talked in a month. Motherfucker, they ain't been there all month. They ain't been there. So what they going to talk about? You know what I'm saying? I think this week, going into next week, things spur action. We'll see something get done. I'll be shocked if I don't see something get done by the first week of training camp. I still won't be concerned, but I'll definitely be shocked. I think we'll see something by this week, man. When we see all these other people starting to get signed and things starting to move. I think, and then yesterday after the press conference, unfortunately, those type of things spur action. So I think we'll see something done soon, man.
You got, as they said, Laramie Tunzel
Hmm.
looking for the contract. He ain't even touched the field yet.
He
But
can wait. He can sit his ass and wait.
right, right. You
With
got
all due
Jaden
respect,
Daniel.
yeah,
Yeah, contract. I don't think Debo's going to be here. Even if he balls out, I think you just let him go for a compensatory pick.
yeah. I love Debo. I
Right.
love his attitude. I love his swag. He has not played for us yet. I mean, I'm talking everything he did in San Francisco. Goes out there and balls out. I mean, we already have somebody like Jalen Lane that we drafted in the third, fourth round. That's kind of like a Debo style. So we're developing anyway. So I don't see Debo sticking around. I see us putting money into a younger receiver at that point, especially if we sign Terry, who'll be on the other side of 30. We're gonna need somebody younger in that room.
Right. And then, certain teams do this, like the Cleveland Browns. They kind of did it with Miles Garrett a little bit. They kind of got, then they ended up signing him. But some teams just kind of get it done.
Hmm.
And San Francisco hasn't been like they kind of they might wait sometimes, and
Exactly.
they
Exactly.
might wait. So we'll see. I think it's bad until he signed. You know what I mean? Until he signed, it's going to be bad. No matter what anybody says.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? For the team, the morale, other people looking like, hold on, like when it's time for me to, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Especially guys that's approaching like the 30 year and that mark where they feel like you might be going backwards. You know what I mean? I think it's a bad look. Especially for somebody like Terry. We can't, like, if it was somebody else, we could sweep it under the rug and say, oh, but Terry, this is the guy who's meant everything to the franchise. And I think another thing you were saying is he ain't an Adam Peters guy.
Hmm.
Much as he meant to the franchise,
Hmm.
they could be looking at it, like that. Even the fact that he spoke to the media, it's just like,
We knew
I
he
don't
was going
know.
to speak to. We knew in the locally. We knew he was going to talk to the media because he was doing that commercial and he agreed to speak to the local media. So we knew it was going to happen. We just know what he was going to say.
Yeah, I mean, he said a lot.
Hmm.
He said a lot. So yeah, it's not like, I mean, this thing. If I was AJ Brown, like, it'll look bad.
Hmm.
Like, people will be, or anybody, any receiver, it'll look crazy. You know what I'm saying? It just would. You know. Unfortunately, we ain't never let it get there. Maybe it might get there. Next contract negotiation.
Yeah.
It may feel like, especially with his knee problems and shit like that. But it's an ugly business. The NFL is a fucking ugly ass business, man. So we'll see how it goes in the next, week or so. Do I think he'll get signed? Yeah. Maybe. I think the contention is, maybe, in my opinion, maybe the guaranteed money in the
Mhm.
years.
Just the years, I think.
Right.
They don't want to push into that 34, 35 range. They're scared of that number. And Adam Peters, like, look, nobody on that franchise should feel comfortable outside of JD5. When you look at the contracts that everybody got, when you look at, and a lot of people are talking about where one of the oldest teams in the NFL. When you look at when you look at what Ron Rivera did to this franchise from 2020 to 2024, all of
Right.
his first round picks are no longer there. All of them. None of them are there anymore. 95% of his second round picks aren't there. 95% of his third round picks. So you talk about 4 drafts where
Wow.
none of them players are no longer on the roster.
Whew, that's
Got to
crazy.
supplement. This is why we got 1 year contracts with older dudes so that we can give Adam Peters time to draft and bring in his people. And this is why you're going to see a lot of fourth, fifth unrestricted free agents start seeing some time on this field because of the terrible contracts that were done the last 4. He put us in, man, a rock and a hard place ain't even saying enough. Ron Rivera drafted absolutely terrible. So when you look at these deals and how they structured it, almost like it had to be done because the players that he drafted, they got rid of. That being said, no one should feel safe. Even this should even be an eye opener to Terry. Do I think Terry deserves it more than most? Absolutely. But this is the NFL, and if you weren't drafted by the people that are in office, you are also at risk, and that just sucks. And at the end of the day, I will also say this: I'm a fan of this team. I love Terry. I love what he's done for this organization. I will always be a Terry fan. But whether Terry's here or not, I'm rocking with the burgundy and gold, man, and that's it.
So, what do you see a situation where, let's say, all right, let's say they give him a 2 year deal, maybe a three. I think they probably offer him like a two
Mhm.
at the most. Maybe he wants three. You know what I mean? Because even if it's two, that's 3 years because he got a year left on his contract.
Right,
Maybe they don't want to go that far into it at the rate that they're going to be paying him. Because usually the contract usually balloons up that
mhm,
last year.
right.
So maybe it's that. Maybe they offer him like a 2 year deal, and he plays 2 more years, and that third year is always an option to get out of there. I
Right.
think that's probably what's going to happen. He'll probably play another 2 years, depending on his production. It may be a year by year thing, and they'll let him walk.
Yeah.
I think that's the most logical thing that can happen.
I think that when you look at what they've been doing, they have been very afraid to give out 3 or 4 year contracts because they know that Jaden's coming down the pipeline and they want that book clear as possible to make sure they give him his. I guarantee this won't be going on with Jaden. He's gonna get his money,
Oh yeah,
but
yeah,
they're
yeah.
kind of opening it up. So it's like, listen, anybody is expendable on this team except for 5. They're showing you right now. And Adam Peters is kind of showing us, look, I can draft. I love Terry. We love Terry, but we can draft. We can get people in here. So I hope Terry gets signed, man. I don't see a 4 year. I would love to see a 3 year. I would love to see Terry. This is my thing. This is personal. I would love to see Terry get a 3 year because I would love to see him retire with our team. If he gets a 2 year, I see him going elsewhere after that contract, which will kind of bother me a little bit because it's like you don't want to see somebody that you homegrown grew up with throw in another uniform. If he gets a 2 year, he'll be playing for somebody else in 3 years. If he gets a 4 year, there's a good chance. Or if he gets a 3 year, which puts him into 4 years with us, it's a good chance he retires with us. If he gets a 2 year, which puts him into 3, he may be going elsewhere. And that's just the reality, man.
Yeah, so we'll see. And I
Yeah,
mean,
man.
maybe one day I think it'll come through and they give him a contract.
Yep.
Maybe somewhere along the lines with Garrett Wilson. You know, but if you value him, the man, you'll pay him. Whether you talk about future performance or past performance, I think he can give you another 2 good years
He gonna
minimum.
give it to he gonna give it to you. He got 2 in him for sure. And he feels like he has more. And I wouldn't put anything past the kid, man. I really Terry's a special dude. So we'll see. Is he the greatest receiver in the world? No. But who gives a shit, man? He's a special dude. Who wouldn't want to be in a fight with Terry? Like nobody in the league wouldn't want to be in a fight with Terry. So
Yeah, definitely. It's funny how it escalated though.
yeah.
It was just rumor, and then he came up. But I mean, people just have to have some shit to talk about.
Yeah.
Obviously, you
This
know
is
what I mean.
worthy though. I mean, he came out and talked. We got to talk about it. So